You have the Justice Department endorsing the idea that criticism of foreign nation is potentially a crime. And you have certain states banning it, like Florida, under Ron DeSantis. No, that's a hate crime. You can't criticize that country or our relationship with it. At the very same time, the people encouraging you to go along with this and threatening you if you don't are bragging that everything you're not allowed to say is in fact true. That's all this is. It's a way to make it really clear. Jeffrey Epstein gets to win Powerball somehow.
I always had some reservation about Ron DeSantis. In fact, they made it illegal to criticize Israel in Florida. That's not good.
His murderers walk free? We're not even going to investigate it. But you, watch yourself. Watch yourself now. That's exactly what's going on. But maybe the most obvious example of what's going on happened last night. And it wasn't just the fact that Ed Galreen, or whatever the guy's name is, who even knows, who cares? As he won, somebody, and this was cruel, brought a video camera to his, quote, victory party. Now, remember, this is a guy who just beat a 7-term incumbent. And check the numbers on this. It's not that easy to beat an incumbent, a 7-term incumbent.
Not easy.
Wildly popular, even by the standards of Republican states. Thomas Massie wasn't just popular, he was wildly popular in his district, and the election results over the past 7 terms prove that. Look him up. So this guy, Ed, whatever his name is, just wins, and his one campaign promise is to draft your son and send him to Iran, but he wins anyway. How did he win? Well, obviously people were just so thrilled by the idea of a draft that they just lifted Ed Galreen.
No, nasty smear campaigns by AIPAC were a big part of it, and Trump not endorsing Massie and endorsing this guy.
Onto their shoulders and carried him across the finish line. And then they all streamed into the victory hall for beers and high fives and maybe some brats. You imagine that must have happened. People woke up one morning and realized their congressman, who we thought was honest and principled and decent, a family man whose 4 children love him, who built his own home, who's the embodiment of the America you thought you lived in, that's independent and has self-respect and reverence for God and nature. That's what you thought of him. And you realize, no, he's like a liberal who's actually being supported by the jihadis, who's like some kind of sex criminal, because that's what they told you. We need Ed Galreen, the draft guy. And we're thrilled he got it. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a peek at what Election HQ last night at Ed's victory party actually looked like.
See the energy in this room? Over 60 energy in this room.
Covered a lot of victory parties in my life, a lot, more than 10, and some lost parties too. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. There's no one there. What percentage of the people in that room know Ed Galreen or are related to him? Are his neighbors, were paid to be there? We don't know the answer. There's nobody there. So how'd this guy win? Well, he won on mail-in ballots. And we'll sort of leave it to online sleuths to determine whether that's legitimate or not. Who knows?
Probably not. The voting system in the United States is a complete shit show. And non-establishment candidates, or candidates the establishment wants to lose, I think they like a very uphill battle.
Because if you're willing to pour tens of millions of dollars into a Republican primary in the 4th District of Kentucky, you're probably willing to do whatever it takes. And maybe they did. We don't know that. Not alleging it.
I am.
But we do know that's not what democracy looks like. Democracy is the process by which people express their will, by which they say, this is how we want our country to be run because it's our country. It doesn't belong to Miriam Adelson or Paul Singer or Israel.
Reminds me of Biden hiding out in the basement during the entire last 2 months of campaigning in 2020 and somehow still getting 5 million extra votes through mail-in ballots that disappeared in 2024, those 5 million extra votes.
Or Big Pharma, for that matter. Or any other small group of rich people. It's not the plaything of billionaires. That doesn't belong to the oligarchs. It belongs to us. And here's what we want. And you can't ignore us because we're the owners here. And this is a shareholders meeting and we're voting. And when people win in a race like this, there's evidence of it. And that evidence takes very familiar forms. Enthusiasm, joy, and just sheer numbers. Like people show up, they can't believe it. We beat the evil Thomas Massie with his jihadi backers. This is a blow against Islamic Jihad, whatever that is. Islamic Jihad, which along with Hamas is one of the big problems in the 4th District of Kentucky.
Yeah.
They've been very, very concerned about Islamic Jihad and Hamas and Hezbollah for a long time in Covington. But anyway, there was no such display. And so it makes you wonder, this election itself, was it another part of the humiliation ritual? Was it a way of saying to the rest of us, people who sort of believed in democracy, it's all fake? We can get a guy whose last name we can't pronounce elected on a platform everybody in America hates because we can. Because we're billionaires and you're not. And of course our priorities are not aligned with yours. In fact, we hate your priorities and we hate you. We're going to do this to you anyway. Even in Kentucky, we can do it. It's possible that's the message they were sending. Pretty certain, actually. So on one level, this is this...
The message was for politicians, not the public. Don't turn against Israel. And look what we can do if you dare turn against Israel. The problem is the message to the public is that we can completely rig your elections. That's an unintended message, and it's going to hurt them more than they think.
Saddest moment in a long time. It's not just the death of Thomas Massie's immediate political career, which may be resurrected, one never knows. It's obviously the death of MAGA, whatever that was. But it's also, of course, the end of the Republican Party as we thought we knew it. The Republican Party of right now bears absolutely no resemblance to the Republican Party we thought we had just elected less than a year and a half ago. None at all. Its parties are completely different. Yeah. Its slogans are completely different. It is not the same thing. And maybe there's a working...
Yeah, I think the best example, I'll go back to it always, is where's the wall on the Mexican border? Trump doesn't even talk about the wall anymore. What does he talk about all the time instead of the wall? His ballroom. The ballroom he wants to build for the swamp in Washington. That's his priority now. Before it was the wall. Now it's the ballroom.
Majority somewhere of people who support the new priorities of the Republican Party, but the question would be, where is that? Haaretz readers clearly do. They think that was the most important race in America. Amazing that they were following it. But in this country, nobody supports this. Nobody does. Mm-hmm. And so that's not all bad. And it's not bad because the one thing we know is that nothing will be the same after this. This is too much. They went too far. This is a victory, but it's likely a Pyrrhic victory, actually.
Actually, Tucker is mad against Israel for rigging the election. I'm mad against Trump. To me, turning against Massie was Trump's biggest betrayal so far. The Iran war, that's, I think, just him being stupid. Betrayal of his beliefs so far, but he thought he was getting into a 3-day war. He didn't think he was getting into a forever war. So he stumbled into this forever war in Iran. It wasn't intentional. Massie, on the other hand, that there's no excusing it. It's just a betrayal. Getting rid of one of the few honest people in Congress, fuck him. Fuck Trump.
Because we now know, because it's been confirmed, how the system actually works. And no, it's not a democratic system. It bears no resemblance to a democratic system at all. A small number of people who are more concerned about a foreign country than our country decide who gets...
I will mention it. If Trump had stood by Massie and said, vote Massie and not this guy supported by Israel, then Massie would have won. Trump has a lot of sway. He would, especially among the older voters, it would have been enough.
Gets elected. No, that's not a hateful conspiracy theory. That's a demonstrable fact that they admit.
I mean, I think I remember Trump sent Vance to campaign against Massie in Kentucky. That's how far he went. It's to that degree. Of course, I'm mad at AIPAC too.
So it's on the basis of that we can proceed. And by that, I mean the truth. That's the truth. What people whispered about, those crazies on the internet, has now been proven for everyone to see. Nothing will ever be the same again. And you got to think it's going to be a little better because there will be actual reform. We have gone too far And so whatever comes next, whether it's in the Republican Party or outside it, is likely to be much more honest and direct and less ashamed. Much more willing to tell the truth, as uncomfortable as it may make some people. Because the truth is always worth telling, always. And a politics based on anything but the truth is always poisonous. So yes, this is a low point. Is it the end point? Not at all.
Nope.
It's the beginning. Maybe of something great.
When was the last time you heard someone on their...
Well, I agree with Tucker Carlson, except I'm also very angry with Trump. And Israel should not be rigging our elections, especially getting rid of one of the few honest people in Congress. Okay, this might be a quick video on YouTube. Like and subscribe, come watch on Kick or Twitch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.